Whitney Miller is a former professional athlete, kickboxing commentator, and podcaster, but now you can add country music singer-songwriter superstar to that list. And after Whitney Miller was crowned a Miss Texas and Miss United States, she knew there were many things she enjoyed in life, and music was at the top. Well, she is now taking Nashville by storm with a blend of pop-infused country dance anthem, Diamond Country, that contains a roaring beat, a dynamic fiddle, and a rolling banjo that is rarely heard these days. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome country music's Rhinestone Cowgirl, the one and only Whitney Miller. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. What an introduction, I must say. I need to bring you around everywhere with me.
Hey, there you go. Well, what kind of reception have you been receiving by the country music fans?
You know, it's been very warm, very welcoming. I think they enjoy the different sound that they're getting from Diamond Country because I gain a lot of my influences from early Gretchen Wilson, early Miranda Lambert. It's very in your face and kind of loud and over the top. And, you know, so far people have really been loving it. And that just, I have to tell you, that just makes all of my dreams come true because it's still sinking in that this is real life.
Well, see, that's what I was wondering because I've listened to your new single, Diamond Country, and it is one of those kick your tail in your face anthem kind of songs, which really works in the pop world. But I think it's time we have that kind of in your face anthem in country music because, you know, with a lot of the pop infused female country artists today, the music's a little bit on the soft side. And like Miranda Lambert and Gretchen Wilson, you know, that's the stuff that I want to hear. And so I'm glad you're putting that kind of music out there.
Well, lucky you. I got you covered.
Well, what have you been? No, go ahead. Go ahead, Whitney.
I'm excited to hear that from you because, you know, I'm the type of person that doesn't play it safe. I never really have in my life. And so there was this moment of, oh gosh, am I really going to come out with this song? This is going to be my first one. That's so different. People aren't putting this out there. It can be a polarizing song. People are either going to love it or they're going to hate it. But ultimately, you know, I just anchored into what kind of artist do I want to be? What kind of message do I want to put out to the world? And for me, it was, do you. Like, you make the music that you want to make, go out there and be who you want to be. Because at the end of the day, playing it safe and playing small and trying to fit into a box is not how I go through my life.
Well, see, that's the reason why in the areas of, you know, with pop music, I think the ones that don't care what anybody thinks is Miley Cyrus and Katy Perry. Everybody else kind of plays the genre like they think they need to. I think country music has been playing it extremely safe on the female side, especially the female country artists that have more of a crossover pop sound. Anytime I hear their songs, it's not country to me whatsoever. But sure, you have blended that pop sound with country music absolutely to a perfect T.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. It feels good. You know, I have that pop side to me for sure. But as we talked about a little bit earlier off air, I'm born and raised in Texas, right? If I didn't listen to country music, if it wasn't in my blood, I would have been kicked out of the family in a heartbeat, right? So I wanted to bring all of those sides into this song. That's why I'm a sucker for a loud fiddle. I love the banjo, you know, I love a good steel and slide guitar. And so all of that we put into this song, and you'll expect that in future songs to come as well. We got to bring it all.
Yeah, because, you know, the other day I was listening to one of Keith Urban's older songs. I think it was Wouldn't You Like to Be Me? And it opens up with the banjo. And country music has gotten to be too safe, too lazy, and I like the fact that you are confident enough to come out and just be you. And country music just needs that in your face kind of talent that we're really missing today. Even the guy side of country music is playing it safe. I mean, the only ones that I actually want to listen to nowadays is Chris Stapleton, because
Love.
I mean, literally that's just pure talent. And I think you have to come out to be who you are and even be different to stand out. So let me ask you this, Whitney, what's that one thing that makes you stand out from other female country artists currently on the radio?
For me, it's kind of similar to what we just talked about. You know, I'm not the person here to play it safe. I think there's a lot of amazing female artists out there. I think they have amazing music, but that's for them. And I'm going to leave that to them, you know, and I'm going to find my own lane. And what's great about, you know, potentially in the future, I'll be with a record, but right now I'm independent and I'm my own boss. I make my own rules. I play by my own game. And that's what you're going to find. And that's what you're going to see from me. And that's something that I try to live my life by through in and throughout, not only because that's what makes me the happiest. I enjoy that. But also I think it gives permission to other people to do it as well. Say, you know what, this is what I've always wanted to do. And if I can see her doing it, then why can't I do it?
Well, yeah.
So that's just like the mentality for me. It's just, we're not playing it safe anymore. We have one life to live. Let's do it, and let's do it loud, and let's do it big, and let's have some fun while we're doing it.
Well, see, that's what I think. That's what I think is so cool about independent artists, because I love independent artists. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to really answer to anybody. But with you entering country music, is there anything that you have learned or maybe have surprised you about the country music industry?
For me, yeah, when I moved up here. So I moved here to Nashville from Texas in last January. So it's almost been a year. And I didn't quite know how I was going to be received. You move to a new town. You don't know if people are going to like you. They don't know if you're going to be competitive or how that's going to go. But I have to say, this has been the most collaborative town that I've been in. People are constantly wanting to help you. People are constantly wanting to sit in a room and write with you or give you advice. And I was worried that it might go the opposite way of that. And I really have to find my footing here. And I'm still finding that. But ultimately, overall, people have been so welcoming and friendly. And I can't even begin to tell you how grateful I am for that.
Well, you know, and I've heard that from so many people where the community, the country music community in Nashville is very close. It's very welcoming. For independent artists, I think it's a fantastic foundation to grow, make connections. And then for those that, you know, end up, let's say, you know, at the level of Miranda Lambert and Taylor Swift and people like that, that's a whole different world. And not everybody will get to that level, but I think by being your own person and, letting your diamonds shine, people are going to take notice.
All right. That's what I like to hear. And that's what we're doing. We're definitely going to light some fire and see what we can burn down. I'll tell you that.
There you go. Well, let me ask you this, because you were crowned Miss Texas and Miss United States. Did you actually grow up on the pageant circuit?
You know, I didn't. I grew up in South Texas with a single father, and we were hunting, we were fishing, we were on the boat. He was a big time sailor, so I sailed every weekend. And I was just a little bit of a tomboy growing up. Not a little bit, a big tomboy growing up, I must say. So when I did my first pageant, I think I was around 15, and a friend of mine was going to do it. And she asked if I wanted to do it. My parents' mouths were like, wait, Whitney is going to walk around in a dress? That's crazy. And I ended up winning, which is wild to me still to this day. I was Miss Corpus Christi, and then I went to Miss Texas Teen at the time. And, you know, in pageantry, there's a lot of really good things that come along with it, but there's a lot of things that you're told on who to be and how to stand and what to say. And they kind of mold you into what I like to call pageant patty. And if you haven't realized from this point, that doesn't really work for me. I'm always breaking outside of the box. And so it just wasn't my thing for a while. You know, I decided, no, I don't want to do that. Fast forward to college, a friend calls me and says, "Hey, Miss Texas is next weekend. Do you want to go compete?" I say no. I'm competing in wake surfing at the time on the professional level, always on the lake. But as cliche as it sounds, there is something that told me you better go compete. And so I went and won Miss Texas and went on to Miss United States and won Miss United States. But really, my vow and my promise to myself going into those pageants was, you have to be yourself. You're not going in there as Pageant Patty. You're going in there as Whitney Miller. And if you win as Whitney Miller, then that's all that matters. If you lose as Whitney Miller, then fine. No harm, no foul. You showed up as yourself, not trying to be something you're not.
Well, did winning both those titles give you the exposure you needed to embark on a musical career, or did you pick singing as your talent in those two pageants?
No, the real thing is singing is and was my biggest fear. So, like, I'm telling you, paralyzing fear when people would ask me to sing. I was told when I was 10 years old by someone who was very close to me that I couldn't sing. And probably at that time I couldn't sing, but I was just a little kid having a good time. And I really took that to heart. I embodied that, and I would never sing. I would only sing by myself, but it was the one thing I always wanted to do. And it got to a point to where it was honestly excruciating and just so frustrating that I couldn't fully be myself because I was petrified of this one thing. So I did all of these other things to kind of, I feel like, scratch that itch a little bit. Oh, see, I won Miss United States. Maybe that'll put away the singing, idea. Or I went into fighting. Maybe that'll put away the singing idea, Finally, I knew I had to show up for myself, and I couldn't play small anymore. You have one life. You have to go for it. I had to push through that fear. And ever since then, I would just like, okay, I'm going to say yes. I just have to say yes to this. I'm going to be so scared, but I'm just saying yes. And I know this is exactly what I want to be doing. And it's been the biggest adventure and journey of my life.
Wow. I mean, a lot of people would never step outside their comfort zone to face a fear, but you must have had a very deep sense of the spirit of music within you that I guess you knew you need to overcome or to give birth to.
Right. I don't think I had a choice. I kept telling myself that I wasn't good enough, that I couldn't do it. And finally it was like, I don't know if it was the hand of God or what it was. It was just slapped me out of it and said, are you going to live a life that you don't actually want to live by preventing yourself from doing the one thing that you want to be doing more than anything, which is singing and creating music? And I finally answered that question, and it was, now I have the blinders on, and now it's music, fully gung ho, guns a blazing. Like, we are not stopping.
Wow. Now I also understand that you were into kickboxing at a competitive level.
So once I handed my crown over as Miss United States, again, trying to figure out how to challenge myself a little bit, I had a very crazy idea of going into fighting because they're a beauty pageant winner. That doesn't really make sense, right? So I ended up doing a lot of jiu-jitsu tournaments. I'm a blue belt in jiu-jitsu right now. And then I ended up taking a boxing fight, which I won as well. And then from that boxing match, I went into kickboxing, commentating for Glory and ESPN.
Wow. It reminds me of MMA or UFC, Paige Vanzant. I'm thinking, why? Because she went into bare knuckle boxing. I'm like, why would you want to mess up that face?
I know. She went into bare knuckle. I wouldn't do that. But she had, a lot of experience in the UFC ring as well. And beautiful girl, still modeling to this day. And, one thing that I say is, yeah, you can get some bumps and bruises on your face, but believe it or not, your face heals pretty quick.
Well, that's a good thing, especially being in something that is so visual today. With music, a lot of people think, well, music is audible, but it really isn't anymore. It's very visual because of music videos and performing before crowds. So you want to have that look, and you've got the look, you've got the voice, you have the talent. I've listened to your past singles before Diamond Country, and they're all fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's been, like I said, it's been such a fun adventure. And luckily now I'm not stepping into the ring anymore. I'm not getting hit in the face. I do train boxing a few times a week with my trainer here, but no fights, no getting punched in the nose anymore. I think I've done that whole thing and I know what it feels like.
Well, are you working on a full-length album now?
I am, yes. So my plan really is in January to release a new single every 4 weeks. And then that'll, be compiled into an album. But right now I just want to get new music out there. I have so much music I've been writing constantly and I cannot wait for these new singles to come out. I'm just like chomping at the bit for this. And they're similar in vibe to Diamond Country, but now it's more so about getting into the heart of who I am and how I tick and what thoughts I have. I literally bring my journal that I would not let anyone read. No one would want to read that. It's like terrifying. But I bring it into writing sessions and go through it and say, okay, this is what I'm feeling. This is where I'm at today. This is where I was yesterday. And I try to create a very open, very vulnerable song that people can ultimately relate to.
Yeah, because music can be a very emotional journey, and when you have songs on an emotional level, then people in their own life, that song becomes a memory based on a situation or a time in their life. So it's something that will stick with them forever. I think you made the best choice ever to really come out with Diamond Country because, again, it's so in your face. It kicks you in the tail and you pay attention to it, and the production and of course your talent is just top notch when it comes to that song.
Thank you. Yeah, it's such a fun song. Overall, it's just fun. And like I said, the music video we have coming out here soon in the next couple of weeks, and it's just like the song, over the top, lots of lights, lots of people. There's a dance for it. The costumes and the outfits I'm in are just so extra. And it was so much fun to be able to create this song and then watch it come to life in this video.
Now, are you performing on a regular basis in Nashville?
I am. I'm doing writers rounds constantly. I just had one last night. I played at the Listening Room last weekend, and so I'm trying to get out there and perform as much as I possibly can, which has been great. It's great practice to get up there because, like I said, I'm still working through this fear of mine. But you would never know it. I get up there and I really let loose.
Well, I can tell you this, Whitney, you have the confidence, you have the talent, you have the voice, you have the look, and you definitely have the songs. And ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you one thing. You have got to put Whitney Miller on your radar. You need to head over to whitneymillermusic.com for all of her music. Check out her videos and even check out her podcast, True Sex and Wild Love, which is a relationship podcast. And of course, that's going to be a subject for another day. And Whitney, what's next? So besides working on the full-length album, what else is planned for the future?
Right. So we're still writing and recording music as much as possible. And then we're looking at doing a tour in the new year. So whether that's opening up for somebody or just doing a small tour with myself through Texas and Nashville and probably out through California. So we'll have some live shows coming up, which is just the pinnacle of my dream. So make sure to come to that, attend those, check out the new music. And I'm also, find me on Instagram. It's Wit in Love on Instagram. And I talk to everybody. So send me a DM, put a comment in there. I love to connect with people in that way.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I follow Whitney Miller on Instagram as well. And for all of you who are watching and listening, head over to whitneymillermusic.com. Again, for all of her music, check out her videos. Check out the brand new hot single that should be storming country radio, Diamond Country. You're going to love it. It's an anthem. You can dance to it. You're going to be singing it very quickly as you listen to that song. And I can guarantee you this, you'll be listening to it over and over again. And Whitney, thank you so much for being on the program today.
Yes, thank you so much. This was a blast. I really appreciate it.
Hey, you bet. And ladies and gentlemen, stick around. We'll be right back after these messages.